What's going on, 49er faithful? You are tuned into the Friday edition of Keeping the Faith right here live on YouTube. I'm JD, and the San Francisco 49ers wrapped up their third consecutive day of practice down in Santa Clara today to open the 49ers training camp of 2025. The team will have an off day tomorrow for the first time before returning to the practice field on Sunday, but there were some developments, some takeaways, some things that occurred today at 49ers practice that are certainly worth discussing, and that's what we're going to do right here live on Keeping the Faith. I have some notes that I took from everything that I've seen coming out of Santa Clara since this afternoon. And once we get through discussing that stuff and I take your comments and questions, I also will be giving my thoughts on some other 49ers related news that came down this morning as it was revealed when to expect the reveal of the 49ers 2025 rivalries uniforms. Yes, that news came down this morning, and I'll have some screenshots to show you guys. We'll have a discussion about that as well. But first, let's go ahead and get into today's notes from training camp. You know what? Hold on. I'm seeing some people trickling into the chat. My bad. I'm getting out of my routine. I usually like to say what's up to all of my chatters. So if you're here and you're watching the stream, don't be shy. Make sure you pop on in to our live chat. Otherwise, what I like to call the show within the show. Drop your ones. Let me see who's here so I can say what's up to you guys, and we can get the show rolling. I see Niner Gang Podcast tuning in. He says, "What's good? What up, Niner Gang Podcast?" Thank you for tuning in, my man. Oh, he dropped his one. There we go. Absolutely. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Okay. Let's just get on into the notes. Let's just get on to the news of the day because there was quite a bit of relevant news that has come down from Santa Clara as of this afternoon. And let's go. Oh, my bad. It's Friday, guys. It's the end of the week. We made it. I'm tired. I'm sure you guys are tired. I know the Niners are tired. They're ready for their off day. So am I. So forgive me. But here we go. So the number one takeaway from camp, or at least not number one in terms of importance, but the first takeaway that I had from training camp today down there in Santa Clara is that Brock Purdy did not practice today with what 49ers PR is referring as a team or what am I saying? The 49ers are referring to it as a personal matter. However, it's not a big deal, nothing to worry about. And he is expected to take the field on Sunday. So for anyone that was down there in practice and, didn't see Brock Purdy on the field and they were concerned, no need to worry. Brock Purdy, from all accounts, appears to be fine. And he's just dealing with a personal matter. Decided to not practice today and is expected to return to the practice field on Sunday. While I'm discussing that, while we're talking about Brock Purdy and his personal matter, I just want to point out that there have been a few people who have tried to kind of speculate or allude to what the personal matter is. And I think that's just kind of crummy. I think that's just kind of scumbag behavior. Like, let the man kind of handle what he's got to handle. Especially if it's something that he hasn't made public himself. I would let him handle whatever personal matter that is. If it's public knowledge, talk about it. If he's brought it up publicly, talk about it. But if it's a personal matter, and that's what the 49ers are referring to, and we don't exactly know what it is, speculating on things like that is just kind of it's just kind of crappy to me. I'm not a fan of people who do that. Uh, Again, if it was public knowledge, or if it was revealed by Brock Purdy, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But I've seen far too many people today kind of speculating on what it could be. And throughout the offseason, there has been rumblings about some personal stuff with Brock Purdy. Nothing concrete, nothing that's been publicly announced. If they want to announce it, they will, right? And by they, I mean Brock Purdy and his family. So I I don't know. I feel some type of way about that. It's a personal matter. Let it be personal unless they choose for it to, be public. That's all. I don't know. I just feel some kind of way about that. Without Brock Purdy on the practice field today, that meant that backup quarterback Mac Jones would take the reins with the first string. By all accounts, Mac had a bit of an up and down practice. He looked okay. He was able to move the offense, but he also, had some issues. Throwing some passes that got broken up. Uh, up and down day for Mac Jones, but it's good that Mac Jones was able to get some more meaningful reps, the lion's share of the snaps today in practice, along with third stringer Tanner Mordecai, who continues to throw interceptions at training camp. But it's like I told you guys coming into camp, Mac Jones was going to get your quarterback 2 job, and if you thought anything different, don't know what to tell you. I expected Mac Jones to come in and outplay Tanner Mordecai. And not only that, the contract that Mac Jones was given told me that no matter how those two performed in camp, you were going to see Mac Jones ahead on the depth chart over Tanner Mordecai. And through 3 days of practice, there's been nothing to convince me otherwise. So, but Mac Jones had the start, if you want to call it that, today down at 49ers training camp. And a couple of the beneficiaries of Mac Jones' start actually came on the defensive side of the ball. Let's start with Renardo Green, perhaps the star of training camp today, put together arguably his best practice of the entire offseason, recording 3 PBUs or pass breakups throughout camp today. Had a couple nice reps against Juwan Jennings, really put together a strong practice for the first time in several months. And that's good news because Renardo Green had been kind of struggling throughout the offseason program and through the first couple days of training camp. But Renardo Green came out there today and really seemed to put it together, had a really strong day. The unfortunate part of that whole thing, and there's always got to be a but, he did great, but he made plays, but there always has to be a but when it comes to the Niners, it feels like, right? On the last of his 3 PBUs, Renardo Green came down a little gimpy, walked off the practice field a little bit gingerly and appeared to be pointing to his hamstring. So yet another hamstring injury to a 49ers player. They had Jacob Cowing sustain a hamstring injury the first day of camp. Ricky Pearsall came in to training camp nursing a hamstring injury. And now you have Renardo Green with yet another injury of the soft tissue hamstring variety. Not good news. We've been talking about it leading up to camp. This team is extremely thin at cornerback beyond their starting group. And, I've been saying it all along. I've wanted the 49ers to go out and address the cornerback position. Go pick up someone on the free agent market. If you lose Renardo Green or Diamador Lenore on the outside, this team's in trouble. And I stand by that, especially now. Sure, is Renardo Green's absence going to free up some snaps for a lot of younger players who could definitely benefit from getting more work in training camp? Yes. But this team needs to be preparing to put the best team on the field week 1. And I'm fairly confident that they need to go out and get somebody. They need to go out and bring in another corner, just at the very least for a little bit of insurance, But Renardo Green, nonetheless, had a very strong practice today before exiting due to a soft tissue hamstring injury. Another beneficiary of Mac Jones starting on offense today, taking reps with the ones in the absence of Brock Purdy, was safety Jair Brown, who recorded an interception off Mac Jones, jumping a route in the middle of the field. Jair Brown, another player who had been struggling so far kind of early in camp. In the offseason program, he'd been dealing with an ankle injury, had offseason surgery, had been struggling somewhat in the early days of training camp before recording an interception today. Very good news that the third-year man was able to come out and, pick off a Mac Jones pass. We would like to see him do it against Brock Purdy, before we jump to any sort of conclusions, but it's good to see Jair Brown make a play like that. Hopefully it will give him some added confidence, a bit of a boost in that regard, and he will be able to continue stacking positive momentum in the coming days ahead down at 49ers training camp. Speaking of the secondary, we've just hit on a couple members of the secondary. Deommodore Lenoir himself, the biggest thing that Deommodore Lenoir did on the field today was get into a little bit of what some are referring to as a mini skirmish with wide receiver Juwan Jennings. It was during a run play where Juwan was blocking Deommodore Lenoir. Lenoir took exception to it. They got into a little bit of a scuffle, if you will. Reports are that Deommodore Lenoir actually threw a punch. You don't like to see that. You really don't. He didn't connect, so that's good. At least there's no injury to Deommodore Lenoir's hand, whatever hand he threw the punch with. But I don't mind there being, some physicality, some scuffles, some disagreements on the field, a little bit of dust ups, if you will, whatever you want to call it. I'm good with that. That every training camp has to have some of that stuff. The crazy thing for me is that it was only day 3 of training camp. The weather's been great all week, so it's not like the team's been practicing in 90-degree weather and really you just kind of dealing with that kind of stuff. But it's day 3 of training camp. They haven't even put the pads on yet. The weather's been great, and you're already seeing Deommodore Lenoir getting into skirmishes with 49ers players. I don't know if that's an indicator of what's to come, but Deommodore Lenoir gets into it with Juwan Jennings today. And of course, we all know Juwan Jennings is no stranger to pissing off cornerbacks, so that's nothing new. And I was thinking about it a little bit further. Today was the date of Deommodore Lenoir's court date down in Los Angeles County following his arrest in the month of June down in L.A. Maybe Lenoir had a little bit on his mind. It doesn't look like that Lenoir attended that court date down in Los Angeles, considering he was at training camp today. Like we'd mentioned on the show previously, I believe for that sort of thing, his attorney could show up on his behalf, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But I'm just wondering, maybe Deommodore Lenoir had a little bit on his mind. Maybe he was just a little bit stressed out, feeling a little feisty today, wanted to take it out on somebody, and tried to take it out on Juwan Jennings. And out of everyone on the 49ers offense, that's one of the guys you don't want to do that against. But Juwan Jennings, no stranger to getting under the skin of NFL cornerbacks, and Deommodore Lenoir just happens to be the latest one. Next on my list of notes, the kicking competition heated up today. Through the first 2 days of camp, things appeared to be dead even between the incumbent Jake Moody and the newcomer Greg Joseph. However, today there appeared to be a little bit of separation. With Jake Moody going 3 for 4 today on field goal kicks and Greg Joseph going 2 for 4. So I guess if the first 2 days of camp were a tie, after today you have to give Jake Moody a slight edge based on performance in training camp. And I know a lot of Niner fans are probably gritting their teeth, maybe throwing things across the room if they hear me say that. But after 3 days, it sounds like Jake Moody is in the lead in the 49ers kicking job. So we'll see how all that plays out. Of course, kicks in camp are great, but let's see what happens in the preseason because, if I want to put some money down on Jake Moody missing at least one kick in the preseason, I think I'm pretty much guaranteed to win some cash on that. And, we'll see what happens. Let's see how Jake Moody performs once the games actually get going, once there's real pressure of a bunch of NFL players running at him and being able to hit him. That doesn't go on in training camp. So we'll see what happens come the preseason. But through 3 days of camp, it appears that Jake Moody may have the absolute slightest edge over Greg Joseph for the 49ers starting kicking job. Sticking with the theme of special teams, with Jacob Cowing still out nursing his hamstring injury, and on that front, we still have not received any news about the severity of the hamstring injury or just how long he can be expected to be sidelined. But with Jacob Cowing out, 7th-round rookie returner Junior Bergen, as well as 4th-round rookie wideout Jordan Watkins, handled all of the duties on punt returns today. Very telling considering that Cowing is not out there on the field right now. There was nothing that I saw in terms of kind of who outperformed who in that department, but we've been wondering, how is the returner job going to look, especially now that Jacob Cowing is out with an injury. We figured he would be a name that would be thrown into that hat for sure. But now it looks like the kicking or the returner job is between Junior Bergen and Jordan Watkins, at least for now. Again, obviously, everything that I'm discussing here, we're gonna learn a hell of a lot more about this team once the pads come on, and we're gonna learn a hell of a lot more about this team in the preseason. But on day 3 of camp, the main punt returners in practice were Junior Bergen and Jordan Watkins, for what it's worth, for those of you that are keeping track at home. Number 8 on my list of takeaways from Niners camp today, Nick Bosa and Bryce Huff were all around the legs of the 49ers quarterbacks today, screaming off the edge, making plays in the backfield, getting into the quarterback's lap, and that's a very welcome sign. So far in camp, some of the biggest takeaways that I have are that the 49ers defensive line looks like it's going to be a lot better than people anticipated. I mean, Mikael Williams is emerging. You're hearing good things about Alfred Collins and CJ West. Now you have Nick Bosa and Bryce Huff making plays off the edge. And of course, once the pads come on next week, you're really going to see some fun stuff out there. You're really going to get a feel for what this team can do. But with Nick Bosa and Bryce Huff coming off the edge today, they were making some noise in practice. It was visible. It was noticeable for those that were on hand down at the 49ers practice facility. So that is a welcome sign. Any day that the 49ers defensive line is in the news for making some plays at camp, I'm here for it. So that's very good news to hear coming out of Santa Clara. Number 9 on my list. We've been talking a lot about the secondary today. That was a lot of the news that coming out of camp today. Number 9 on my list of notes is that cornerback Darrell Luter Jr. broke up a pass today on a curl route intended for Jordan Watkins. You have to imagine that Darrell Luter is going to be the guy tasked with replacing Renardo Green during the time that he is out. If he misses any time, we still don't have anything definitive on Renardo Green and his injury. He may be out there on Sunday. Who knows? But maybe they play it safe. Maybe they hold him out for a little bit. And if they do that, if they do decide to hold out Renardo Green, you would have to imagine that Darrell Luter Jr. is going to get the first crack at additional reps in practice. And he's a guy the Niners have been high on. And I think him getting more reps in practice is a good thing. And by all accounts, he's been playing pretty well in training camp. So I'm not opposed to seeing more Darrell Luter Jr. in the coming days at practice. I'm really not. And lastly, sticking with the cornerback theme, undrafted rookie free agent corner Jacob Robinson has been making a little bit of an impression at training camp throughout the first 3 days, from what I was able to read, according to reports. He has been quietly having a strong training camp, making a strong showing. And with the injuries to Renardo Green, with the lack of depth that this team has at corner, don't be shocked if Jacob Robinson somehow finds his way onto the roster, the back end of the cornerback depth chart. I mean, we'll see. It's early. And of course, if he can go out there in preseason and really make a statement, you might see the undrafted rookie free agent sticking around. Maybe it's on the practice squad, but maybe he nabs that last cornerback spot. We shall see. But just encouraging news nonetheless, that some of the reserve cornerbacks were able to make some plays out there in camp today. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, Renardo Green having his best practice of the offseason, recording 3 pass breakups today before exiting with what is being referred to as a lower leg injury, hamstring injury. So a little bit of good, a little bit of bad today down there at camp. Yet another player dropping like flies with a hamstring, but it's still early. So there is a lot of time between now and the regular season. So we will see what happens. Let me take a look at the chat here, guys. And those were my news and notes of the day from 49ers camp, my main takeaway. So if you guys have anything that you want to get into that you saw. Maybe you were down there at 49ers camp today. We can certainly get into that. And after we do that, I will definitely get into the news regarding the 49ers and their upcoming rivalries uniforms, because the 49ers put out some content on that front today that I definitely want to get into. 49er minded checking in. What up, Bashar? Thank you for tuning in, my guy. Let's see what else we got in the chat here. Sorry, guys. I saw one message. I'm trying to find it. I saw one and I'm trying. There we go. Rick Diaz, haven't seen you around in a while, my guy. Shout out Rick for tuning in. Thank you for coming around, man. It's been a long time. Thank you for stopping by. Much appreciated. Let's see who else we got who have been chiming in the chat today. I'm glad that I'm becoming Rams fans' favorite place to go on YouTube. I'm getting a lot of Rams fans in my chat, but they're not going to get the pleasure of having their messages read on the screen. That's for sure. But you're more than welcome to watch. Like, thanks for giving me a view. You know, you can say what you want in the chat, Rams fans, but at the end of the day, you're giving me a view. So thanks, man. Appreciate it. Bashar says, I dig the background. Thanks, man. I'm at 49ers practice. Can't you tell? That's what we're going for. I'm not actually there, obviously. But I wanted to make it feel like I was there, because I wish I was. I wish I was down there. I'm going to definitely get down there at some point during camp. And I may have some news on that front pretty soon. So we'll see. Let's see who else we got in the chat. Iraqi vet turning in. The vet 49. He says, "What's up, JD? Did you mention that Stout was running with the ones today?" He's been running with the ones on and off throughout camp, and yet again, Upton Stout obviously out there running with the ones. I mean, nothing new, and that's very encouraging. But with Stout, I've been saying it all along. I want to see what happens when the pads come on. He looks good out there, moving around, making plays, coming off the edge, blitzing on occasion. But I want to see how he holds up once the pads come on, once these guys can hit and really block and really lay into him. I like Upton Stout. I'm encouraged by what I've seen. But I've been saying this all along, like, everything that you're hearing, everything that you're seeing, take it with a grain of salt. Because, yes, there are things you can learn from these non-padded practices, but we don't really know anything until the pads come on. And we will learn a hell of a lot more once they get actually out there and play real games. So, yeah, it's encouraging what Upton Stout is doing. Do I expect him to be the nickel corner week one up in Seattle? I do. But I want to see what he looks like with pads. That's all. I'm just trying to exercise a little bit of patience on that front and regarding all the news that we've heard. So, and very encouraging to see Upton Stout making a lot of plays yet again on day 3 of 49ers training camp. Dion says, no, Jim is just a troll. Oh, I know he's a troll. I'm aware. That's fine. Whatever. He's the only Rams fan maybe that exists. There's not that many that participate on YouTube. I don't really see many Rams content creators on YouTube. And I've mentioned it before. After the Rams won the Super Bowl a few years back, you look at the streets of LA after the Super Bowl, and there was like 5 people out there. Rams fans don't even care about the Rams. So I'm not worried about a troll in a chat. Not worried about it at all. But okay. So I got through all my news and notes from today's training camp practice, day number 3 down there in Santa Clara. But let's get into what you guys all really came for. Because I know Niners fans have been going crazy with every little nugget of information. I put out a video a few days ago regarding what I believed to be a leak of the 49ers rivalries uniform logo that I saw on a hat, on a photo that was circulating online. So if you didn't see that video, go check it out. It is on this channel. But there was some news today that came down as it was announced by the NFL that the Rivalry's uniforms that we've been hearing about for months will finally be revealed on August 28th. So we have to wait still over a month before we actually see the jerseys. However, all the teams that are participating in the first year of these rivalry uniforms put out all kinds of teaser videos and photos and whatnot. You can't really see anything. We can't really make a decision one way or the other on what they look like, but you did see a ton of teaser videos come out today from teams, including the 49ers. They put out 2 teaser videos. I'm not going to show them here. You can find them on the 49ers YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all that. I'm not trying to get any sort of copyright. But the first video that the Niners put out was, it appeared to be some sort of a red Niner jersey in what appeared to be like rock or like some sort of, rock or concrete wall, or, and they started chipping away at it, right? And it revealed some colors of black and gold if you look really close, but you still can't really make out anything based off of that video. And then the Niners took it a step further with a second reveal video that they put out today. And I got pictures that I took from there, some screenshots that I want to share with you guys and give you my thoughts. So let me pull up the first one. First one we got, this one here. This graphic here. It looks like an old Western, little Western bar themed kind of swinging door, like you're going into an old Western saloon. And it has the date, August 28th, 2025, in gold across the middle of the picture. But the important part is the colorway. You're looking at a red background with black doors and a gold, the date lettered in gold, colored in gold. What does this mean exactly? I don't know. Are we talking about red jerseys with black and gold numbers? Are we talking about black jerseys with red and gold accents? Not exactly sure what we're looking at just yet. But I'll tell you this. If it is black jerseys again, I am going to come on here and unleash one of the most epic rants you've ever heard. Because the 49ers had black jerseys before, and they were a train wreck. The fan base hated them. They were awful to look at on TV. You could barely make out the numbers of the players' jerseys on TV. The reporters hated them for that same reason. Those jerseys were very short-lived. They were only worn over the course of 2 seasons before they were ultimately scrapped. The Niners never even made like a public statement that they were getting rid of the black jerseys. They just quietly went away. And I understand why. They were hideous. And most of all, they were not 49ers. They were not 49er football. Black jerseys have no business being on the backs of 49ers players. The 49ers are a classic franchise, a traditional franchise, a pillar of the NFL. And they have one of the most classic color schemes in all of professional sports. They have no business wearing black uniforms whatsoever. So if these rivalry jerseys turn out to be mainly a black color, I am going to have a huge, huge bone to pick with the 49ers in the NFL. We've already been down that road. You do see some fans on social media saying, oh, bring back the black uniforms. But for every one fan that you see on social media, talking about bringing back the black uniforms, you see 10 others who are telling you absolutely not. So 49ers, get the hint. Read the room. This team has no business wearing black jerseys. Leave that to other teams who have way less of a legacy than the 49ers do with the colors that they've worn and the uniforms that they've worn. Doing things like black jerseys, that's a gimmick. Leave that to teams like the Arizona Cardinals, who have never done anything throughout their entire existence, who adopted a black jersey just to make some news and sell some merch. The Niners don't have that problem. So do not allow the 49ers to go to black jerseys again. Please, I am begging you. I will be so pissed off if the 49ers have black unis again. Let me show you some of the other screenshots that I was able to take from the reveals today that we saw on social media. Let's go here. And this one. This is from that same reveal video. And it was flashed on the screen extremely fast. So fast that I wasn't even able to pause it in time to get this screenshot. Someone else was able to get it and posted screenshots. And there's other better quality ones that are more close up if you dig on Twitter and on Instagram. But you can see it here through the doors. There are little slits in the doors where you can kind of see the outline of jersey numbers on the chest. And if you look at some of the zoomed in pictures on social media, you'll be able to see a kind of an outline of how the helmet looks, but you're not able to make any sort of judgment regarding the color of the uniform. To me, in looking at this screenshot, and I'll try and zoom it in a little bit better. If you guys look closely on the chest area where the little slits are in the doorway, and you can see the outline of how the numbers are going to look. In my opinion, and I think this goes back to the hat that I posted on a video the other night. I think the numbers on these rivalry uniforms are going to have the 49ers saloon font. I'm standing by that. And I would like that. That would be a very welcome addition if you're going to do anything different at all, because the saloon font is obviously synonymous with the 49ers. So if you have to go outside of the box and do something different, at least incorporate the things that make the 49ers have one of the most classic, looks in all of the NFL. So I would be all about this team having some saloon font numbers if they, choose to go that way. But we will find out on August the 28th. We have over a month to wait. And I don't know about you guys, but I am very, very eager to see how these uniforms look. And I'm just praying, fingers crossed, that those uniforms are not black jerseys again, because we've been down that road. We know how it went. And I'm not a fan of it. Sorry. I'm just not. So that was all that I had for today, guys. The 49ers wrapped up their third straight day of practice today, like I mentioned at the top of the program. And they have an off day tomorrow before returning to the practice field on Sunday. And that is believed to be when Brock Purdy will be back out on the field as well. So do not fret if you're worried about Brock Purdy's absence today. He's expected to return to the team and be back on Sunday. But that's all I had, guys, unless you guys had anything else that you wanted to discuss. I see the Vet 49 says, those black uniforms were the worst things those black uniforms were the worst things ever. I hated them so bad. I'm with you. And I'm not going to lie. I own one. I have a black Carlos Hyde one. I had to have one just for nostalgia purposes. I'm a Niner fan, so anything that they put out, I have to at least get one, even if I don't like it, just to have it in the collection, But I'm hoping that they do not go back to the black uniforms. Man, you guys will see a rant of epic proportions if they do that again. I'm telling you. The Niners are not one of those teams that have to put up a gimmick like that. They just aren't. Leave that to the Arizona Cardinals. Leave that to who else has had black uniforms? Let me think. What other teams have rolled out black unis that was a gimmick? Like the Carolina Panthers, the Jacksonville Jaguars, maybe. Who else am I missing? I'm sure I'm missing some, but I guess you could say the Philadelphia Eagles, because black uniforms were not their typical color historically. But I don't mind their black uniforms; those kind of work for them. I see a guy here in the chat, J49 says Raiders. The Raiders have always had black uniforms. That's not a gimmick. That's who they are. I don't blame them there. But we'll see. I just hope the Niners don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. I don't want to see black jerseys at Levi's ever again. I'm sorry, I don't. But that's all we had, guys. Today was day 3 of 49ers training camp. They wrapped it up. One notable injury with Renardo Green going down with a hamstring pull. Hopefully we'll get some clarification on that on Sunday when Kyle Shanahan speaks to the media. Hopefully we'll also get an update on Jacob Cowing's hamstring injury. Ricky Pearsall is expected to return to the practice field on Sunday as well. So there's a lot to look forward to on Sunday when the 49ers get back out there for their last non-padded practice of training camp before pads come on this Monday. So we're only getting started, guys. Training camp is off and rolling, and so is this program Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. right here on YouTube. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, have your notifications on so you know every time we drop a video or go live. I did drop another video this morning, so go and check that out if you haven't already. But until next time, let's go Niners, and I'll see you guys back very soon.